1.
Yeah, what's up guys, it's your boy Shieldcoomer, aka Sirigath with Streets of Wonder 19, this time, Tazavesh. This key has been causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people, so I hope you guys will find it helpful. I will try to explain basically what I'm doing and try to kind of cover the dungeon mechanics and stuff, since the dungeon is pretty fresh. And also talk about my build a little bit, because I do feel like things for Holy Priest have changed a little bit. As you guys know, I mainly play Discipline Priest, but at the moment Holy Priest is just so busted that it just feels like you're trolling if you're not playing Holy Priest at the moment and you are a Priest Healer main. This is not to say that Disc is bad, per se. It's just that Holy is better at the moment, and you might have noticed this trend in raids as well. I just feel like the utility Holy provides and just the healing potential of it is insane. Now keep in mind that there's nothing really exotic in my build at the moment, except for I'm actually using Apparatus instead of Flash Concentration. Now if you ask me for like particular reasoning behind that, I just wanted to test it out. I crafted it for PvP basically, but I've seen some other players use it, and I thought to myself, sure, why not? I mean, it sounds fun, right? You get more words to play with, and you have like extra abilities that reduce your word cities. It has a fantastic synergy with our force set, which we definitely want to utilize a lot, and there's a lot of things you can min-max with your force set. It's not easy though, like you gotta keep track of the buff. It's not complicated either, it's just that you have to keep in mind like when you get the procs and stuff. And it's so one thing I would like to mention though is that Divine Star, I feel like is right now the talent to play, obviously, whereas I think previous seasons Benediction has been the way to go. Halo and Divine Star have been buffed now. Sadly, Halo, as good as it is, I just don't feel like it's as good as Divine Star. Divine Star is perfect for dungeons. It deals damage, it heals your allies as long as they're stacked. So if you're playing with melee teams, this ability will blast. Halo is sadly not very practical simply because it has too big of range. I never thought I'll say this, but it just... Imagine being in like a tight corridors or like sanguine depths or something like that, and you just cast Halo, you're gonna pull the whole dungeon, man. It's like it's not a very practical spell. Everything else is regular. We're just playing Trail of Light, Angelic Feather. Now you can pick Binding Heals or Guardian Angel. I personally would strongly suggest Guardian Angel simply to keep like tanks alive or DPS during hard mechanics. The hardest variations you will see is on our level 35 tree, which is a Psychic Voice, Sensor, or Shining Force. I think this is down to kind of like what dungeon you do and your personal preference and what your group is lacking. Like Psychic Force is good because you get 30-second fear, which you can use to interrupt in AoE, which is pretty good for some dungeons. In some dungeons it's absolutely trash and useless, never pick it. Sensor is... Empower. Just a very strong talent in my opinion. It's a 4-second stun, and it makes our chastisers unbreakable. It is crazy good. And Shining Force also very practical in some weeks. For example, the current week at which I'm uploading this video, so not the week that you're seeing right now on the screen, but the week I'm currently doing is great for it because there is necrotic and there is Spiteful, which just makes the knockback amazing. Because keep in mind, a lot of people forget our knockback also has a slowing component to it, which makes it very strong, guys. It makes it very strong because not only do you knock things, but you also slow things, and it is just very strong. Also, if not utilized properly, it can also be bad for your group because it will reduce the damage a lot and stuff like that. So just be careful when you use it. You know, don't push it out of, I don't know, out of like Wild Spirits or out of Frozen Orbs from Frost Mages. There's a lot of abilities that are placed on the ground, so just, you know, try not to get in the way of your DPS players. Obviously, our job as healers is to support others and make them look good, so obviously don't do that unless it's necessary. As I said, it's up to people to make the judgment call. Yeah, also another thing that's important to mention is one mistake I did early into this patch is I kind of played with Night Fae a little bit, and in theory Night Fae sounds great and stuff, but honestly I feel like you need to play Kyrian in the current patch if you're a Holy Priest, simply because the ascended blast is just crazy good. The boon, it's way too strong, and with the double legendary you get and Mykonos, you get 1 minute CD on it pretty much every single time if you're using it in packs, which basically means you have a strong burst for every single pack, which is just absolutely insane. Definitely go for it. I think combined with Divine Star, we are actually dealing quite a lot of damage at the moment as Holy Priests, and it is definitely a way to go. I feel like now whether you want to use Flash Concentration or Apparatus is up to you, I think, and up to what week you're doing. I feel like if you don't need too much healing, you can try out Apparatus if you want to. It's pretty good, pretty fun to play, a little bit more dynamic than Flash Concentration. Flash Concentration, I just find it so boring. It is good though, you can't argue that it's not. I just personally found that, like, when I'm popping a scented boon, I felt like I very often drop my Flash Concentration stacks, and that kind of like made me annoyed, to be honest, because it made me feel like I'm not playing properly. But the problem with boon, the only problem with boon is it's absolutely amazing in every single other regard, but it kind of doesn't heal that much, and it, like, if you're not careful, if you use it at wrong moments, you can actually lose people to damage, and we don't want that, so just gotta be careful there. Yeah, this boss is a little bit tricky for us, because there's like a lot of movement and stuff, but it's not that big of a deal. Once again, I feel like if I was playing Flash Concentration gear, I would be bored to death, because as you can see, like, I'm over healing already. Like, there's really no need for any extra healing. We just, you know, just need to reduce the words, and yeah. Alright, so here you need to be careful in this corridor here.
Stasis beam.
I'm waiting it for cat to happen, so I tell you what to watch out for, but obviously keep people dispelled as much as you can. It's very important, because these dots actually deal insane amounts of damage on Fortified. If left unintended, they will definitely melt your players away. Combine the CDR Affix with your boon. It makes it so that you can just spam blast. It's really insane. Try it out. It's super fun. It can cost you like the CD reduction, but it's, I would say, for like bosses and stuff on tyrannical weeks, I think it's worth it. So just try it out, play around with it. There's quite a few things to min-max right now on Holy Priest, for sure. And there's a lot of things to watch out for, so, you know, make sure you're you know, when you're playing, pay attention to what you're doing. It's not, this class used to be so simple. I feel like in this season, just because of how buffed the numbers are and stuff, there's like so much to min-max. But yeah, this is what I wanted to say, guys. You be very careful with these lasers. This is a really dumb way to die. I don't know why I've seen so many keys just lose players to this. Like, literally just don't stand in white lines. It's not hard. Pay attention. You can even get in there. Like, you can get inside of them and you can rotate and just use like some fancy footwork to make yourself like not get hit. See, now this is dangerous. That was a bit scary. Tank shouldn't move there, you know, because like, you know how melee players are, they're like not moving until tank moves for some reason. So something to be aware of, definitely. Well, I say that where we don't really have melee. We got survival hunter, I guess, but yeah. Yeah, as you can see, just something to be careful of. It's very simple. Tank almost died there. That's why I typed this is fine, but yeah. This part of the dungeon, like, I love Tazavesh dungeons. I really feel like mechanics are cool, and it's a mechanically challenging dungeon, together with how like challenging it is numbers wise, because there's quite a lot of like, I don't want to say DPS checks, because nothing is really a DPS check in dungeons, but it is kind of like spooky. And Sid here said sorry because I think I didn't dispel him. I'm not actually quite sure. I think that's what happened. So just pay attention, dispel those explosions, because as you can see on Fortified weeks, if you get like an overlap with any other mechanic, you can actually, like, people just drop dead. Something to be aware of, regardless. obviously Grievous for us is not that big of a deal. Like it's annoying, but I mean, if there is a spec that can deal with it, it's us and shamans. Like that is just no problem whatsoever for us. Whenever you see enemies like this stacked and stuff, pop your boon, go to town. Look at the damage. Look at that, beautiful. You can do so much more damage. I was still like kind of getting into the groove of things with this, but look at that, like almost like what was that, 14k or something, like without potions, without lust, without like CDR. Just trust me, we can deal some crazy damage this season. It's pretty good. It's really nice. If you even pair it with some DPS trinkets and stuff, there's like a lot of ways to min max damage. So yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind. These guys, they're kind of spooky because there's inspired ads, so nothing can be interrupted or stunned, so there's just gonna be like a lot of overall damage here. I think here we'll lose some people if I remember correctly. It's not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, I actually ended up dying here. That was kind of weird. Yeah, see, like if you go back and take a look at what I died to, it's super dumb. Like I died to a circle on the ground that I didn't even see. I just stood in it like a moron. It's very scary. I don't know why in this patch currently like everything is white. I don't know what Blizzard is thinking, but like I mean I have really good eyesight in general, but I can't see shit in this whole patch. Like everything in both the raid and dungeons just feels like there's like white things on white surface and you cannot see anything. Like Black Inky Potion, I would be surprised if the price doesn't go up to like 1 million in this patch. It's crazy. Like you can see here I type it as well. I mean, you know, apologies to your teams just so they know, like, you're not, you know, griefing. I don't know, I like to say sorry when I'm in the wrong, although that's sometimes also a bad play, because sometimes if you admit you're wrong, people will jump on you and be like, oh, you know, it's fine. I don't know, I just like to try and be a bigger man, you know, and admit my mistakes rather than blame others, you know, always look like, you know, what I could have done differently and stuff. So Kyrian says wait, so I just eat some food. It's pretty easy. Honestly, as Holy Priest, you should... I mean, it's not never, but you shouldn't have mana issues, because not only do you have like symbol, but it's not just that. It's just that in general, this class doesn't really consume that much mana, because the heals are so cost efficient. Especially if you're playing Flash Concentration, like, as long as you're not dropping your 5 stack, you should never run out of mana. It is really nice. Yeah, as you can see, like look at that, like just some nice damage, you know, pretty big contribution from a healer, you know, when you can burst like 15k and then end up with like 8k DPS in a pack, and then obviously Tank being a Bayer 4-set pre-nerf does like 20k himself. It's pretty, these dungeons are pretty insane right now. It's you know, a lot of people are aiming for the 3000 Ryo at the moment, but I feel like I don't want to say that it's not that hard to get, because I'm not there yet, so I feel like that would be hypocritical, but I wasn't even trying, to be honest. Like I'm actually really enjoying dungeons at the moment. They're super fun to play. Everything just feels so strong, and like DPSers are doing like 30k DPS a pull, like 50k sometimes bursting and stuff. It's just pretty wild and then pretty interesting. Yeah, this room here, you really want to be careful here. This room is dangerous. There's a lot of things going on. Like I'm just gonna be honest, I don't even know what all of these things do, but I know that you can lose people here, especially on Fortified, and you will see some, like, at times I think people will drop low. Obviously, as long as you stun stuff and interrupt, like, you should be fine, but it's these junk mail throwing guys that hurt a lot, I think. Deal a lot of damage when they throw that, and I think it's kind of similar to that one pack in from Blobs in the DOS, where it's just random who they aim at, so like anybody is in danger, and if you just get unlucky, combine that with another overlap and you can easily die here. Just something to be aware of, you know. Keep your eyes open, watch out for those squishy DPSers. Those are usually like hunters, surprisingly druids. I don't know why, but I feel like druids are not, like, druids are
pretty squishy if they're not quick to pop a bark skin and like go bear form, and usually they're not, and they shouldn't have, like that's why we're here, right, to heal. So, you know, if you stand in these bubbles, by the way, you get haste, so that's pretty nice to know. Obviously there's probably a good way to min-max that and like utilize it, but we don't really do it here because it's a PoV and it's still fresh in the patch, so nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. Oh damn, I'm swearing a lot on this, sorry about that. But yeah, it's, as you can see, pretty nice. See that, like, what was that, 12k, 13k, something like that. Pretty decent damage, And after this boss, now this boss is probably the second most dangerous boss of this dungeon. The reason is very simple. He deals a lot of damage, and there's like a mechanic that requires people to actually walk around instead of press their rotation, and that's always dangerous, especially in PoGs. No offense to anyone, but you guys know how it is, you know, PoG life. See, here I tried to soak. I think I'm gonna take both of those. And then once people soak, obviously make sure to dispel them. I think a lot of people don't know this, but like, just dispel, that debuff is dispellable, so just make sure to dispel it, make it easy for yourself. Here this guy goes to, so I basically popped him because like I thought we were all gonna soak, but this guy is smart and he turtled this, and that is very good. It's a good play on him, and it's my misplay that I popped him there, because I kind of wasted it, to be honest, like half of the duration, so yeah. Here I wanted to help, but honestly I kind of regretted it afterwards, because everybody started taking crazy amounts of damage again, and I'm so slow that I feel like I'm probably the worst person to be carrying packages. I'm not trying to like have any healer privileges here, it's just like objectively bad. But you know, somebody has to do it, and I was like, you know, I don't want to be that guy that doesn't do mechanics, so I just did it. Here I also went to soak. I don't know, maybe it wasn't necessary, but I felt like it's better to soak, you know, than get overwhelmed by all the mechanics. And here I popped hypothesis, I don't know how you pronounce that spell, but I felt like it was necessary because we were kind of dropping low and there was a soaking coming, so yeah, it felt scary. I just wanted to do it, you know, just throw in one package. I think one package of healer, for healer is enough. Obviously, so that's something you have to figure out with your group, who's doing packages. I feel like if the group needs damage, you do it. If the group needs healing, and on this boss there's a lot of healing required, then somebody else has to do it, because you can't, like, you know, maybe druids are better for it or some other class, but we really don't heal that much while moving. It's probably the biggest like flaw of Holy Priest in general. But yeah, as you can see, pretty clean kill, honestly. Honestly, this boss scares me a little bit. Maybe I'm stressing about it too much, but as you can see, I haven't typed nice because I've tried streets a couple of times, and I've timed the 17 before this, and in all of the previous attempts people were failing on this boss really hard, and it was just like whole disaster. So yeah, I even say like it's stressful. Okay, I don't know why I'm reading what I'm saying when I'm literally talking, but yeah. This boss, next one, is, I mean, it's a little bit of a shame that we didn't start RP previously, as far as I know, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, let me know in comments. I'm not really the expert of these Tazavesh keys myself, but you can start the RP earlier and then just kind of like go do something else, and then you can come back and the RP is ready. It doesn't save too much time, but it saves like 30 seconds, I think. And here you just gotta be careful, because there's all of these guys coming randomly, like strongmans and stuff, and they also have a fixate, and sometimes it's kind of hard for people not to get hit, especially if they spawn on them and stuff. So you just gotta be careful, and like, obviously you can help DPS and stuff. I don't really know what the meta is on like who does these deliveries. I think it's probably like the most mobile class you have, which in our case is probably mage, maybe druid, question mark, I'm not really sure. Just something to keep in mind, honestly. It doesn't really matter who does it, but I don't think priests should be doing it, simply because we're so slow, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I don't know, let me know, guys, like, if you do dungeons with your groups, like, who does it for you? Does it really matter what you guys think? I'm very curious to see what other people think about, you know, the keys and stuff. It's always nice to exchange experiences with other players. You know, you never know when you'll learn something new, and it's always good to learn and just like exchange information and stuff. Yeah, I wanna just mention something about the next boss. I don't really know, for some reason I think people are leaving drums for healers. I don't really mind. I don't think it's bad. I think it doesn't really matter which instrument you play. Honestly, they just need to be played, and yeah. Just something to be careful of. There is... You will see when it happens to me, but apparently if you're sitting in drums, you cannot cast spells on the ground, which means no sanctify, which is a big part of our healing. So also if you want to place a defensive as some other spec or whatever, just something to be careful of and keep in mind. I don't really know why it works like that. I think it's like some camera bug or something. Maybe it's intended, I don't know, but you can do everything else, but you can't really cast ground target abilities there, so just something to keep in mind. And here obviously you do notes. Don't do it preemptively, you know, don't be that guy that does it prematurely. But yeah, just something to keep in mind, you know, wait for all 3 notes to spawn. Help with damage, help with healing, and obviously go back to your instrument when you're done with the wave. There's like 3 waves, right? And the boss is on the 3rd wave. And then there is one like intermission where in between the boss fight you have to play the notes, so something to keep in mind. It's very simple, very easy. I feel like with big wigs or DBM like telling you what to do, you got it covered. Also these green things, they can't hit you when you're sitting here. Once again, I'm not sure if that's intended or not, but it's pretty convenient. You can even use them to dodge the green circles, which is a pretty like a cool play if you really feel like you need to. I don't really see the point of it, but it's easier to move, but you know, you can do it if you want to. Yeah, see, next wave, these guys are a little bit trickier than the previous ones, but nothing special again. They don't really have any like dangerous mechanics in my opinion. It's just kind of like blasting, you know, and obviously interrupts. Help, as always, you know, throw your stun out. Help out with that chastisize and, you know, deal some deeps, help your guys out. It just feels so good when you deal decent damage as a healer. I don't know, it's so satisfying, you know, when nobody's dying and you deal like good damage. Like my favorite is when I out DPS a tank. I mean, it's not a competition, and obviously like, you know, out DPSing a tank is not our job or priority, but it just feels good when you do it, you know, because, you know, you just kind of like contribute to the overall damage and feel extra useful rather than just healing, because I feel like healing is one of those things, kind of like if you work in like IT support or something, it's like if nothing is going wrong, nobody says a thing, but as soon as like there's like one little mishaps, everybody's like, healer, question mark, and it's like, bruv, like it's not my fault you guys didn't interrupt anything, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a little bit annoying sometimes playing a healer, but it just kind of comes with the job, you know, you gotta, so it just feels good when you do extra, you know, because usually people know to appreciate it better than when you just do your job. That's kind of cool, but I mean, obviously having a strong and reliable healer is invaluable, I feel like, for any group, so, you know, priority number 1, don't die, priority number 2, keep everybody else alive. Just do the mechanics, play the fight. Here you just gotta get behind him, like, don't stand in the frontal. That will delete you, even on Fortified, I'm pretty sure, especially on 19, so. And here, I think I should be playing drums here. I think I was kind of like late for that again. I think it's that big of a deal though. Here I was very scared that I'm gonna die. See how like I got out, but then I went back in because I thought like I'm in a bad position, so I'm gonna try and get back to see if it prevents the damage. Now I'm actually not sure if that worked or if I just wasn't in the frontal. I don't know, you guys see for yourself what you guys think. I haven't tested it since then because I've been like doing keys that I've been trying to time, so I didn't really wanna grief. But yeah, it's worth testing. I think it should protect you, but I'm not sure, so don't really quote me on that, because other abilities don't hit, but this is kind of different, so something to keep in mind.
We desperately need your signature.
Cartel Soul's underhanded dealings have not escaped my attention. You may have my signature, as long as you never again bring destruction to my oasis.
This incoming pack, guys, you really wanna be careful. These guys hurt a lot. I feel like if there's one spot where you can really scrap your keys, it's probably this one. You just need to be careful here. And like this guy with his power kick, he's a super kicker. Dude, he kicks so hard, like it will actually just send you to a different patch, dude. Like if he kicks you, you're going back to not even BFA, dude. You're going to Rat of the Lich King, dude. It's really bad.
Power kick.
Don't get kicked by him. It's see like even tank is getting smashed. Don't get kicked. Don't be a bozo. Obviously, you know it's kind of tank's job to kind of position him properly as well, but obviously you also shouldn't stand there. You know, it's teamwork ultimately. It's nobody's job to keep you out of frontals and stuff. You need to watch out. This guy, also very dangerous. Places these mines. That's a pretty easy mechanic. But what's really scary here is this link. And here you can see that Mage has done something very smart. Which at the time made me kind of scared. But then I realized how beautiful and how smart this actually is. It's crazy smart. You just if you just stand there and the players get linked, you don't like nothing happens. Like it's you can just chill. Nothing happens. It nullifies the mechanic completely. So that's just like a very smart thing to do. Send one player there. I don't know. I'm not sure if one player is enough. I think 2 for the like max RNG. I guess if it went on like me and tank and me and the guy that's like here, I guess we would just have to deal with it. But yeah, it's pretty smart. Just something to kind of like think about. I probably should maybe. I mean, obviously you can't send everyone there because then there's no point. Then you get linked up anyway. So that's just something to be aware of. And this is the thing I hate the most. And this is something that's probably like the only thing that you need to kind of like really learn through your experience, and that's gonna differ from key to key. Is when to pop your boons, because I clicked my boon, but I didn't get to use most of it simply because there was too much damage and I didn't want to lose people. I mean, Mage got one shot, so that's not on me. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, don't click boon if you know there's like a lot of damage incoming, even if I don't know, it's something that I'm honestly trying to learn myself as well. It's like, when do I boon and when do I hold? All you need is just some, you know, knowledge about dungeons. So the more you play, more familiar you will get with timings. I would say ideally you want to boon as soon as it's up, if there's like more than 3-4 enemies. The exception to that is obviously bosses or some big enemies, like for example Spirit in the other side or something like that. You know, there's one mob but it's a big mob where, you know, your damage will be worth, or those like mini bosses in Theater of Pain. And I really wish those cartel cucks would stop talking about me. Hello, like I'm trying to fucking make a video, guys. Like, stop talking over me. Like, what the fuck? Hey. Okay, this is just rude. Jokes aside, yeah, just experience, just kind of knowing when to pop, when it's worth it. You obviously want to have a lot of enemies so you get your values worth on the CD reduction and stuff, but yeah. Here we were waiting for Mage. Mage barely made it. I pulled him in just in case. I wasn't sure if these doors close or not, but yeah, it's just something. See, I wanted to PI Mage there because he baited me with his CDs, because this weak aura I got for PI, it highlights somebody when they pop a CD, and it oftentimes it baits me, because obviously like here it's better to put it on hunters than it is to put it on, like, obviously marksman, hunter being pretty good options. Survival hunter I think is also a pretty decent target for PI. Frost Mage isn't bad for PI, but I just don't think it's as much value as the other two that I mentioned, so it's like something to keep in mind, you know, a little bit of min-maxing, but that's necessary for high keys, right? You gotta min-max a little bit. Then we have to overdo it for 20s, there's no need at the moment, or 19s in this case. But it's always good to get that min-max going as much as you can. The bosses are pretty simple, honestly, there's not much to do here. I will say one tip that I learned later here though, and that is, you can actually mass dispel this. And here they kind of split up, so I couldn't mass dispel, and I didn't dispel them anyway. But honestly, if you guys are using Discord or something, the timing of this is kind of similar as Cool Tarok, I think it's called, in
Theater of Pain, it's like you should be able to get every other one. So like this one you can't get with Mass Dispel, unlucky, but the next one you can. And the cycle just repeats. Like here we'll have Mass Dispel for the next one, so we can just Mass Dispel every second one. Worth it, honestly. You can wait. What I do in theater is I just wait for bad RNG. Usually prioritize these spells on melee because they can't actually like do anything about it. They have to stay near the boss or lose DPS. So you just kind of like wanna dispel them, obviously, because you guys know what I mean. Like if you,
Annihilation.
I'm actually not sure why I took there so much damage. Like I really am not. I think I stood in that white stuff, whatever that is. But if the melee gets it, they can DPS because they have to move away, so they lose a lot of uptime. So obviously they're the priority for dispelling. If it's two melees, obviously that's when you want to have mass dispel. So you know, if like let's say in this composition, let's say there was a warrior instead of hunter, like if it goes on me and warrior, I would just dispel warrior because I would save it. Like I would assume we're gonna get the bad RNG on the next one. So I would just like hold mass dispel for when we get bad RNG and we get two melees, you know. Obviously that might change on Tyrannical, because on Tyrannical you just want to mass dispel, I think, to minimize the damage, but maybe the same logic applies. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. As always, guys, if there's something you don't understand, if there's anything you want to ask me, I'm by no means expert, and I always say these are not guides. This is not like holy letter what I say or anything like that. I consider myself a decent player. I'm a good player. I think I can help a lot, but I also, these are not guides. I will write guides at some point, I promised you guys, and I will release a guide hopefully soon. It's in the making as we speak. It's a lot of work making a guide that I want to make something that I'm proud of, and it takes a lot of work in preparation and a lot of like writing and stuff, because I don't want to do it like these keys. I just kind of do them off top of my head, but guides are obviously way more detailed, so I want to make like a in-depth comprehensive guide about both Disc and Holy Priest, because right now I'm kind of privileged to be playing the both and feel like I know about both of the specs enough to make a guide. This boss obviously super duper scary. RP taking forever, Jesus. But yeah, just something to keep in mind here is this boss got nerfed, which is pretty good. It's still a hard boss because for some reason people stopped doing mechanics. It is kind of confusing though. There's a lot of RNG in this fight, but no matter what happens, there's always a solution. So just watch. There's a lot about camera management here. When this circle comes, you need to take a portal that will, like, the symbols match. You see, you have square, square, circle, circle, triangle, triangle. Just watch, right? Like it's a game for children, basically. Like children can solve this. Now the question is, can you solve it while doing a lot of DPS and while interrupting and stuff? Now that is the real question, and that's what makes us, you know, high-riot players, right? Because we cannot ignore this mechanic. This deals a lot of damage. You want to be careful, you know, and see here how I popped my CD and I didn't really think it through because the boss is leaving. So thanks said, fuck your boon, I'm out. I think I actually managed to catch all of it, but yeah, you can Bloodlust here. Usually people Bloodlust when he spawns this third barrier, because now you'll have like an uptime. I don't really know if I agree with that last personally, but I think it worked, so no complaints, I guess. It's a pretty big uptime. I think we'll use most of it. It's 20 seconds left. Get this interrupts, and then he'll do a Shuri and teleport. So yeah, you get like 70-80% of the uptime, which is pretty worth it in my opinion. So yeah, it's good enough. And it helps you get through this hard phase where you can maybe finish him before he even does this next Shuri. But yeah, here we actually had to take all three of them, and usually on the last one you will have to take all three. That's just kind of how usually it is. It ends up being like that. And keep in mind, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can immune the Shuri. So if you take it, you might just die. So be careful there. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. You know, don't forget to comment if you like the video. If you got any questions, feel free to leave feedback, you know. Maybe tell me I'm bad or whatever. Look at that Ascendant Blast damage. Sheesh. And Holy Fire, right? Pretty good. Divine Star up there, but it should be higher, I think. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you again, guys. You know, like, subscribe, comment, and bye-bye.